Guys, this is Captainoob here, back with another Wacky Weapon. So today we are looking at the Auto Gauss 44 Magnum. So for this weapon to be created, it needed to fill three criteria. One, that it is automatic. Two, that it is a Gauss with the projectile from a Gauss rifle. And three, that it is indeed a 44 Magnum. So you might not be able to see it, but this thing is definitely based off a 44 Magnum. The reason this thing is automatic is thanks to the powerful automatic receiver from the 10mm pistol here. We've got this replaced with the normal revolver receiver, so it's going to look a little bit strange out of this view, but it kind of works. Now to make this Gauss weapon, we have actually had to go on and slap the Gauss rifle suppressor on it. This, while reducing recoil and reducing sound, will also make the projectiles of the suppressed variety from the Gauss rifle, so it's going to fire that blue sort of laser beam type thing, and it's going to be really cool. Alright, I think that's enough. You get to see the attachments here. I don't think I need to explain them, so let's get into it. Alrighty, let's get into killing some gunners, and I'll go ahead and explain why this is actually the best 44 Magnum type wacky weapon I've ever had in a Fallout 4 video. So as you can tell there, the recoil isn't as nearly as terrible as you think it is. One possible drawback that I can see of this thing yet is that it's a little bit boxy and it takes up lots of the screen. That's why I've chucked on the short scope here, and while it does give us a little bit of tunnel vision, we can go ahead and take out our targets nice and easily, as we'll have a clear view of them. It also allows us to be a little bit more accurate at range, and while the gun is jumping up a bit in my hands as I fire it, it should be fine because we're only operating on 10mm pistol recoil here, so that's not notorious for being very high, and so we can put very accurate shots out there and not having to worry about spread too much. Now this weapon's power is honestly lacking a little bit, but that's kind of to be expected from a weapon with a 10mm pistol receiver, but we have improved it a little bit somewhat with the Gauss rifle suppressor, with obviously the help from Ace Operator, which gives you a little bit more damage with suppressors. But one thing you never want to do when you've got a wacky weapon that is in third person, you don't want to switch to third person because it'll act just like a regular old 44 Magnum. So you have to go through the cocking animation between every shot, which kind of sucks. Now one thing you've probably noticed is the ammo capacity here. So I've got on the quick eject magazine or drum barrel from the assault rifle, and this multiplies your ammo by 4, so therefore we get 4 times the ammo. Now as you can see there, I burst in rounds of 6, like 6 round bursts, so it's a pretty good thing, and looks like I've lost control of the weapon. It's just going to keep firing on me. So if you're firing this thing in aimed first, be prepared to lose all of your bullets because thing's going to fire every single thing you've got out, so that could be potentially hazardous, but I'm pretty sure if you put away your weapon you should be fine. But there you go, you can see that this weapon is firing on 6 round bursts on its own. I'm not actually controlling the bursts there. If it was up to me, I think I'd be firing it constantly. Whoops, I've just managed to enter the screen for inventory of that turret whilst trying to reload, and prematurely have activated node rage there, but we got a bunch of health back as we killed that turret, so that's very good. We'll bust open this door, and this gunner captain, smack her in the face a bit, down she goes. There we go, have a strange little reload animation there as all the parts that aren't meant to belong on this weapon moving around, and that was a pretty decent super jump. Haven't done that in a while. Not sure why that happens. I think it's just when you jump on terrain, the game sort of puts you up. I have no idea why that happens. But as you can tell there from that 4.4 sneak attack critical, this thing is indeed suppressed. And while we can hear it nice and loud and clear, the game thinks this weapon is quiet because obviously it's got a suppressor on it. So when we take on Swan, we should be able to take nice advantage of the suppressor we've got on this. It is one big giant suppressor indeed. Looks like we've picked up Nerd Rage again, which means we'll be able to eliminate this gunner in slow motion there. She's quite tanky. We'll be able to take her out nice and easily, provided I get this thing firing. There we go. It looks like I've missed one. So what I'll do is I'll take out this turret and the one just beyond it. Yes. So the power of this thing isn't great. Usually I want weapons to one-shot those type of turrets because if they got a beat on you, they can stagger you pretty badly. But again, 10mm pistol isn't exactly the highest damaging weapon in this game. Looks like I've missed this lieutenant though, so she's nice and pacified. I don't take prisoners, so you're gonna have to die. There we go. 4.4 sneak attack critical. Very powerful weapon indeed. Let's go test it against Swan and see what we can do. Alright, it's time to take on Swan with our audio Gauss 44 Magnum. So here we are in the dead of night trying to take him out. Just because we want to be as sneaky as we possibly can and remain undetected for as long as we can. So during the night is probably our best bet on taking him out without any help of legendary effects. So with this weapon, it isn't obviously the most powerful thing you've ever seen in this game, so obviously we're going to need to play to its strength to make sure we're able to take out our opponents nice and easily. So we're coming about on the halfway in his health point right now, which is pretty good. Now the one thing about this weapon in VATS is it's horrendous in it because it takes up so much time between shots that it's not even practical to use. I'll demonstrate it here. I'll just do 3 shots at his head and you get to see just how terrible this is. Are you bored yet? I'm bored. So there you have it, that was this thing in VATS. So completely unusable, don't you ever try and use it in VATS, don't even think about it, you probably just mess up your shooting in real time. But as you can tell here, using this thing to its best effect with as many sneak attack criticals as we can take down Swan at a reasonably fast rate. Let's just stay out of his detection zone for just a little bit longer as we get off the rest of his health. Finish him off like a 44 Magnum would. There we go. So there goes Swan for another day. I think this weapon needs something of a legendary effect to make it better, and I know just the one. Let's go ahead and change the legendary effect and face another monster. Alrighty, I've got a really angry 44 auto Gauss pistol thingy here. Let's go ahead and take on a bunch of bears and see what this thing can do. Let's steady up the scope a little bit and we'll go ahead and take out the big boy. Now, obviously, we're probably going to get detected a lot earlier than we did with Swan, or maybe actually get detected, unlike Swan. So we'll go ahead and take out his minions first, and then we're safe to go ahead and take on the big one. So with the Furious effect, obviously you get extra damage the more you hit a target consecutively. So obviously it's going to be very good against any monster with a very large health bar. So, wow, okay, that's bizarre. Why'd they do that? Why'd they just scream and flip at me like that? Is that the one I already killed? They usually scream like that when you kill them. What is this game? So now that this bear is nice and standing there, we can see the Furious come into effect. I don't think he's going to move there. I think this is a bit where he kind of gets stuck. But the point still stands. I think this is a good demonstrator of the potential damage this thing has when augmented with the Furious effect. You know, anything to get at that little extra bit of power that you might need to have a good time with this weapon. Because it's certainly not fun using weapons that are underpowered sometimes, I'll tell you that much. So we'll finish off this Dusky here. He's usually not the last one around, but today he gets to be lucky last one killed. So I hear some rain coming down here, so that's nice, and we'll go ahead and move on to one more monster out here. We'll change up the legendary effect to something a little more interesting, shall we? Alright, so I've got this thing equipped with the Hellfire effect. Let's go ahead and test it on this Mirelurk Overlord dude. So we're nice and crouched, so we're going to get some sneak attack criticals, and that'll help bolster our damage in the long run against this dude, because when he eventually does detect us, the fight is on and he's very, very tough. So I'm going to try and get him to flee by shooting him in third person. For some reason this weapon doesn't work very well with the fleeing department in first person, and I'm pretty sure that is because this weapon works different depending on which point of view you are currently in. So he's coming right up to us, so I'm going to back behind these ruins, make sure he doesn't see us, because the closer he is, the closer we are to being detected, and being detected means this fight will take a whole lot longer without the use of sneak attack criticals. But hopefully he'll go ahead and figure out that I'm not over there. Come on, back to third person. And didn't quite get him to not detect us, but there we go. Now he's going to flee for a little bit. Hopefully with that we can go ahead and sort of back off a little bit, maybe into this bus, and we can get back into caution once more. There we go. Hurry up in caution. Now we can fight him again. Getting more sneak attack criticals on him is paramount, so we'll do that. Hasn't managed to detect us yet. Our stealth bus is working very good for us. He's getting close. We'll go ahead and try to make him flee before he claws us in the face too much. Looks like I managed to get a lucky little flee shot in there, so he's going to flee for the next 30 or so seconds. We'll use this time to maybe hide in the stealth bus stop. Don't want to take a seat in the middle of combat. I don't think the game will let us do that anyway. But whatever. Coming through here on this little beach pier type thing. We can come around. Okay, so he's around the stealth bus. We'll go ahead and try to corner him this way. Maybe get on the high ground. Oh, I can hear him stomping around. He's around here somewhere. There you are, mate. We'll go ahead and fill you up with lots of 44 Magnum bullets. Not getting sneak attack criticals. Okay, now we are. That's good. We'll just try to nail in some headshots there just to get even more damage on him, because like most things, Mylurk's faces are quite squishy and easy targets. So he's probably going to go ahead and flee now, maybe, or he just doesn't know where I am. Come here, mate. I dare ya. Now he's fleeing. We can go ahead and shoot him some more. So the good thing about this is I'm actually the one doing the chasing here, which is kind of neat. But as soon as that flea runs out, he's going to be charging at me like a mad Brahmin. Come on, come on, come on. Make him flee. There we go. The proc chance is a little bit low, but that makes it kind of balanced. You don't want to sort of make everyone flee by one shot, so that's very good. Now, the problem is that he's a lot faster than me, so keeping up with him can sometimes be a problem. Now we've gone ahead and shot in first person, aiming down sights, so that's gone ahead and committed all that rounds to the target, but I managed to get a reload in and cancel that, and there goes Mylurk Killclaw Overlord. So there you have it. That is about it for this particular weapon. If you'd like to see this weapon in your game, be sure to check out the links in the description. One shall be for the Wacky Weapons mod, which will allow you to make this weapon, and if you'd like some of the legendary effects in this video to be on your weapons, be sure to look in the description for that too. Captainoob's legendary effects is the name. Thank you for watching, guys.